The story of the Hope Diamond begins in a world far removed from the luxury and fame it enjoys today. It starts, quite humbly, in the remote, treacherous diamond mines of Golconda, India. Picture the early 1600s, an era of exploration, of strange new lands and untold riches. It was here, in these mines, that a massive blue diamond was uncovered, one that would eventually become known as the Hope Diamond. This wasn't just any diamond. It was a gem of such extraordinary beauty that it would capture the imagination of the world for centuries to come. But what if it wasn't just its beauty that drew people in? What if there was something far darker, far more dangerous hidden inside it? In 1666, a French merchant and adventurer by the name of Jean-Baptiste Tavernier came across the diamond. Tavernier was no stranger to risk. His expeditions took him deep into the heart of Asia, seeking out rare treasures for European royalty. When he first laid eyes on the massive blue stone, he recognized it for what it was, a masterpiece of nature. The diamond weighed an astounding 112 carats, and its color was unlike any other. Rich, deep blue, like the ocean or the night sky. Tavernier bought it, but little did he know, this would mark the beginning of a legacy filled with tragedy and ruin. Tavernier eventually sold the diamond to King Louis XIV of France in 1668, and it would become a symbol of the Sun King's power and wealth. Louis XIV, known for his extravagant lifestyle and opulent court, had the diamond recut to make it more wearable, reducing its size to around 45 carats. He had the diamond set into a ceremonial piece for the royal crown, where it would glitter under the grand chandeliers of Versailles during lavish events. But behind the glittering surface, something far darker seemed to be lurking. For the diamond wasn't just a beautiful jewel, it was already becoming notorious for the misfortune it seemed to bring. Louis XIV's reign, once considered the pinnacle of French monarchy, was beginning to unravel. The country's wealth, drained by endless wars and lavish spending, was starting to show cracks. The king's health, too, was beginning to deteriorate. Though the Sun King lived out the final years of his reign surrounded by luxury, his kingdom was growing weak, and the pressures of ruling an empire were beginning to take their toll. In 1715, Louis XIV died, his legacy tarnished by the financial ruin he left behind. Was the diamond somehow connected to his downfall? Historians can only guess. After Louis XIV's death, the diamond passed through various hands, but tragedy seemed to follow it wherever it went. By the time the diamond found its way into the hands of Louis XVI and his wife, Marie Antoinette, the curse of the Hope Diamond had already begun to take shape in the annals of history. In the late 18th century, France was on the brink of revolution. Louis XVI and Marie Antoinette became symbols of the country's extravagance and decadence, targets of the people's rage as poverty and hunger spread across the land. As the revolution took hold, the royal family was deposed, imprisoned, and ultimately executed. Louis XVI and Marie Antoinette both met their untimely deaths at the guillotine, their heads severed in the very streets where the Hope Diamond had once sparkled in the royal crown. Was the diamond part of their tragic story? Could its so-called curse have been the hidden force that led to their demise? The diamond's fate took another strange twist after the revolution. During the looting of the royal palace, the Hope Diamond was stolen, vanishing into the hands of thieves. For decades, its whereabouts remained unknown. Its reputation as a cursed object only grew stronger, fueled by rumors of its connection to the royal family's fall from grace. Some even believed the diamond had been buried, hidden away in some forgotten corner of history. It wasn't until the early 19th century that the diamond resurfaced, this time in the hands of an unknown mysterious owner. And from there, it would make its way to the United States, into the possession of a woman who would become one of the most famous and tragic owners of all, Evelyn Walsh McLean. In 1911, Evelyn, an heiress to a vast fortune, purchased the Hope Diamond, drawn in by its beauty and allure. She was known for her wealth, her charm, and her taste for the finest things in life. She seemed to have it all, until the tragedies began. Her husband, Edward McLean, suffered a devastating breakdown after a series of business failures. Evelyn's son, Vincent, died tragically at a young age, struck by a car just outside their Washington, D.C. home. Evelyn herself suffered through a string of personal losses, financial ruin, and heartbreak. It seemed that no matter how much she tried to escape, the shadow of the diamond was always lurking. Her life, marked by tragedy, became a living testament to the curse of the Hope Diamond. Some believe that it was the diamond that led to her misfortune, that the stone, laden with centuries of death and despair, had once again found its next victim. But for Evelyn, the diamond was a symbol of her wealth and power, and she refused to part with it until her death in 1947. After Evelyn's passing, the Hope Diamond was sold to jeweler Harry Winston, who, aware of its legendary status, made the decision to donate it to the Smithsonian Institution in 1958, Washington, D.C. in 1958. Today, the Hope Diamond is on display at the Smithsonian, its brilliant blue facets still drawing thousands of visitors every year. It remains one of the most famous gemstones in the world, its rich history and eerie reputation continuing to captivate people to this day. But does the curse still linger? Is the Hope Diamond truly cursed? Or is it simply the result of a long history filled with misfortune and tragedy? Could it be that the diamond, now safely displayed in a museum, is finally free of its dark past? Or is the story far from over? Some claim that the curse is still real, that the Hope Diamond, now under the care of the American people, still has the power to bring disaster to anyone who comes into close contact with it. But perhaps it's simply a tale, spun by generations of people who witnessed tragedy, whose minds searched for answers where none existed. Still, the mystery persists. As you stand before the Hope Diamond today, under the cold, clinical lights of the Smithsonian, you can't help but wonder, has the curse truly been broken? Or is it simply waiting for the next chapter in its long, haunting history? The Hope Diamond, with its rich history, its captivating beauty, and its whispered legends, is more than just a stone. It is a symbol of human greed, obsession, and the search for something greater, something beyond what we can understand. Whether you believe in the curse or not, there's no denying that the Hope Diamond holds something powerful, something mysterious, a secret perhaps, that will remain forever buried in its shimmering depths. So, the next time you find yourself standing before a brilliant blue diamond, whether in a museum, a jeweler's shop, or the pages of history, ask yourself, could this be the same diamond that cursed kings and queens? Could it be the very stone that brought tragedy and ruin to all who dared possess it? Or is it just another precious gem, another myth, waiting to be cracked wide open? The truth, as always, may be just out of reach.